So I just put out that video about a week ago with my top 10 Golden Age comics, but since then there have been a couple big changes, including one new edition. So I thought I would put out an update video. We'll talk about the books that have left and the new book that's here and what has then changed on that list. Let's check these out. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So if you haven't seen that other video, I'd recommend going and checking it out. I did a response to Comic Collector Geek's video on his top 10 Golden Age comics. He had called out my channel, and so I put out a video as well. And so since that video, and one of them, kind of as a result of that video, I have let go of two of those books. One of them I ended up selling. The other one I ended up trading and, partially selling. So a little bit of trade and a little bit of cash. And that one is in this box right here. So I thought I would put out this video, talk about the books that I'm letting go. I've got those two right here. And then talk about the new book that I've added, as well as the books that will then take, potentially the spots of these two books here. So first, the first book that I ended up letting go of, and this is the All Select Comics #1 in a 5.0. I believe this was number 3 on my list, so really high up on that list. All Select Comics #1, this classic Alex Schomburg cover with the big three, which is Captain America, Human Torch, and Submariner attacking Hitler's Berchtesgaden on the cover there. And this one, just amazing colors and just an iconic Alex Schomburg cover. To me, one of the top Alex Schomburg covers of the Golden Age. And so this one, someone reached out to me with an offer. I turned that offer down. They reached out to me with a second offer, and I ended up accepting that offer. And so, so that one is going to be, shipping out. And the second one wasn't directly as a result of this video. I've been asked about this book a number of times, and finally, I got an offer that was just, I just felt like I had to accept, and part of it was adding this new book here. And I think that's part of the big reason I ended up accepting it, is that I was actually getting another book that I was going to be adding to this list. And yeah, so I'll open that after I show this one. And so another Schomburg, which Schomburg were actually quite a few of the books on my list. This is Captain America Comics #46. This, like I said, was not a easy decision. This was number 5 on that list, but this was probably, number 2 of all my books that I have, 2 or maybe 3. It's a close call with this one, the Startling 49, and the Detective Comics #38. But this one I've talked about before. If you're not familiar with it, this is this Schomburg cover that is depicting the Holocaust. It's considered really the only cover that directly depicts the Holocaust. There is a Pep Comics cover that was referenced that's kind of indirectly depicting it, that somebody commented on when I posted the video. But you can see you've got Captain America and Bucky jumping into this concentration camp where they're putting people into furnaces, and so just depicting a horrific moment in time, and just one of the most important and iconic Golden Age covers that is out there. And so ended up letting this one go for a combination of this book and a small amount of cash for it. So first thing, let's check out what's in this box here. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about getting this book, and you'll understand when when I show it. But yeah, so packed real well. It's in one of these. These are always, if you've never shipped with one of these before, it's in one of these My Comic Shop or Lone Star comic boxes. These things, if you ship slabs at least somewhat regularly, they are very good options to just help keep that book secure. If you've ever bought from them, just keep these boxes around and you can use those to ship, and they do a real good job. But I'm going to take this one out of the little bag here. All right, nice. I want to take a look at it, you know, first. Yeah, I mean, it is an awesome looking book. So, what did I end up doing that trade for? So it's actually, like I said, probably my favorite book that's in my collection right now, and it's an upgrade to it. So this is Startling Comics number 49, but in a 4.5. So if you watched my top 10 Golden Age books, I showed this one. So I have a 2.5. And so now I have a 4.5 and a 2.5, both very bright copies. I mean, let's see if I can get it without the reflection. Like, the colors are very, very comparable on these two. In terms of presentation, obviously, like 4.5 is better. The 2.5 here, you can see it has this like, it's kind of like bug chew that's along the top edge there. And there's then this kind of like store stamp that's in the Startling at the top. But really, really great colors on this one. And then with the 4.5, you know, cleaner edges and everything. There's some writing on her leg there. But on average, you know, cleaner edges, but very similar colors. Same page quality, off-white to white pages. There's the back there. I mean, this is a nice looking book. It is. I don't think it has a chance to do any better than what it's at. I mean, it's a nice looking book. It's like one of those where it might be worth, you know, just taking a risk and submitting. I mean, if I get a 4, it would suck, but maybe, you know, maybe it comes back at 5. But yeah, so very happy about this. I don't remember if I said this in the prior video, but my favorite comic that I own is, or, you know, was this one. You know, Startling Comics number 49. I love that cover. I really like Bender, you know, from Futurama. I mean, if you haven't seen this one before, it's called the Bender cover. It's also an Alex Schomburg cover. So that's the interesting thing here is I let go of 2 Alex Schomburg books and I added in, you know, another Alex Schomburg book. That he really is, like, on average, my favorite cover artist of the Golden Age. I mean, there's just so many great covers that he did, both in the airbrush style and his kind of like World War II style that he did. And so quite a few of the books that are in like my top 20 or my keepers books are Alex Schomburg books. And this is just, you know, cool to get a nice upgraded copy of it. And yeah, just incredible colors and everything on this one. Here's the back. So, you know, I definitely, you know, didn't put on my bingo card this year, you know, 2 copies of Startling Comics number 49. That was definitely not so, because I mean, this is one of the books that I'd wanted to get for a few years now. And to have 2 copies of it now is pretty nuts. Now, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with the 2.5. If I'm just going to, you know, keep both copies, which I might, and maybe just over time I'll just buy more and more of them, or if I'll end up letting go of the 2.5. So I have not made that decision yet what I'm going to do there. Now, the other thing I thought I'd talk about is that, you know, what the books are that then take these books' place on that top 10. Now, obviously, one of those spots goes to this one. This basically takes the number 3 spot on my list in terms of value. Like I said, in terms of my actual favorite books that I have, this is number 1. This is number 2. Like, I mean, it's this book. It's this cover. I absolutely love it. But in terms of value, that one would put it at like the 3rd spot. But now I brought a few books out because if I decide to ultimately drop this one, then I would have had 2 slots available. And so the next one in order, since that prior video was in value, would definitely be this book here, which is Captain America Comics number 5. In a 3.5, I think it has the potential to get a 4. It's just, I did not get this one pressed, and it definitely has pressable defects. I was just a little nervous about it, and I wanted to make sure I just got it graded, because I bought this book raw, and I wanted to get it graded, just make sure everything was good with it before I did anything else. And if I decide to ultimately crack it out at some point and get it pressed, then then I will. I do have this one actually for sale. This one is not on my keepers list, since I've talked about that in that prior video, like which books were keepers and which books weren't. Some people asked, the Marvel Mystery Comics number 9 was not the keeper. I said there was one book that wasn't on that prior video. That one was not the keeper. This one is also not on my keeper list. But if you are not familiar with Captain America Comics number 5, one of the key things about this book is this is the first time you had a Stan Lee written story in the book. He did have work in Captain America number 3, so that's considered his first work. This is considered his first story. So you can see that up there, first Stan Lee comic book story. You've also got this tiny, depiction of Red Skull's head on the on the cover here with the Wheel of Death. And so yeah, real cool cover. But this would be the next one that would have gotten added onto that list. Now I have 2 others here because I consider them to be pretty comparable, pretty similar in value, so it could go one or the other. Now, one thing I guess I said, a lot of my books are Schomburg covers. This one is not a Schomburg cover, but it's pretty cool that this one is a Jack Kirby and Sid Shores cover. So I mean, Kirby was doing work a long time before he was drawing the Fantastic Four and all of that, and the X-Men and everything for Marvel. So I mean, this is what, 1941? Yeah, so it's 1941. A couple decades before he was doing that kind of work. But the next one, or the next one of 2, would be this one here, which is also a Schomburg cover. Terrific Comics number 5 in a 2.0. This is considered the good girl art, torture bondage type cover from Schomburg, other than Suspense Comics number 3, if you'd call that one that. Now, I've talked about this book previously. I think I talked about it in a live and when I picked it up, in that this one isn't actually my favorite. My favorite one, you're going to say favorite. It's kind of weird saying favorite for your bondage covers, but my favorite one from Alex Schomburg of that cover style is Marvel Mystery Comics number 52. But the reason being that one actually has the World War II element going for it. That's the one thing that's missing from this cover. You've got the hooded villain guy in the back here, but you don't have anything that represents him as being a Nazi or from the Germans or anything like that. So that is the one thing that's missing from this one, but it does have all the content that you're looking for. The woman in the red dress, the crazy torture device, this spinning wheel of spikes, some kind of demon devil guy down here in the corner. And then I talked about this one, and I think Keston talked about it in his video as well. You've got one of the heroes coming in from the top with his, his gun, shooting at these guys with machine guns. Then you've got his helper guy here with a wrench. That guy's screwed. I feel like he is not making it out of this if he's coming into it with a wrench, when you've got other guys that have pistols and machine guns and everything else. But this would be the next one. This is, whether it's my favorite or not, it is the general communities or Golden Age communities favorite for that content, and so it is a very expensive and very in-demand book. And it's a 2.0, but it's a really nice presenting 2.0. That's one of the things that really sold me on it, is that yeah, it's a low-grade book, but it is an incredible presenting low-grade book. Now here's the back cover. If you just look at the front, I mean, I'd say it presents like a 3.5, maybe a 4. Something like that. I mean, there's some creasing down in this corner here, and there's some tears at this staple, but and a tiny chip up here. But in general, a very solid presenting copy of this book. Then the other one, just to have a maybe a different cover artist as part of this. This is Blue Bolt number 105. So for me, this is either probably my number 1 or number 2 cover for L.B. Cole. It would be between this and Mass Comics number 1. Mass Comics number 1 is going to be more in the horror side of things, and I mean, I've seen them next to each other. I've seen a Mass Comics 1 and this in the same room, and I'd probably say the Mass Comics 1, is my favorite for L.B. Cole. But in terms of sci-fi covers and everything, for L.B. Cole, this is easily my number 1. And the thing is, and I talked about this when I got this book, one of the big things for this one is that it's the level of detail and the quality of the work that he put into this one. And that's one of the reasons I really like Mass Comics #1 as well. It's a really cool, unique cover, but it's also the level of detail and the quality of the work. Because as L.B. Cole, like this one I think is 1950. Yes, this is 1950. And kind of as you tended to get more into like 53, 52, 54 with him, he was doing, you know, so much with Star Publications. That was his publisher. Like I felt like he was just pumping out a lot of work. And so some of it was really good, but some of it felt more like he was, you know, just like trying to get the work done. And this one doesn't have that feeling at all to me. It's really high level of detail. You know, you've got a lot going on here. It's filling the whole page, and just like all the little bits of work on this like creature that he's fighting, just the detail on the woman on the cover, the hero on the cover. It's just to me an incredible sci-fi cover by L.B. Cole. And it just has a lot of elements that I like. It's got the sci-fi stuff, it's got the good girl art stuff, it's got a crazy monster, it's got, you know, black background, kind of like space in the back there. So a lot going for this one, and a great looking 4.5. I mean, colors are great, no pieces missing out or anything like that. No big creases that detract from anything on the cover. Here's the back. You know, there's like a little tanning kind of on this book. But I mean, yeah, great looking copy of this one. And so this one and this one, it would be kind of like a battle between these two as to there we go, as to which one would take that next slot in the in my top 10. But yeah, those are all the books. Just, you know, I thought I would make this update video because it happened so quickly after I made that top 10 Golden Age books. And I think that's something that, you know, for me, you know, a lot of people, like when they have something that's on their PC or their keeper list, you know, it's just like it's there forever. But for me, mine's always changing. I'm always trying to, you know, improve on it or upgrade it or, you know, that kind of thing. And so I thought I'd talk about the books I let go and, you know, the new book that I added, as well as what books might end up, you know, taking those remaining spots. But yeah, I'm very excited about adding this book, 4.5. Just like, you know, stunning colors and everything. And yeah, I just think it's, I just think this is crazy, you know, being able to hold like two of these at once next to each other, you know, both great looking copies. So, all right, if you enjoyed this video, I'd like to see more videos like this. You know, if you don't see books like this very often, I mean, make sure to, you know, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that, because I do talk about this era of book and this type of book, you know, fairly regularly. Usually not this level all at once in one video, but this was a unique circumstance. So if you'd like to see more videos like that, we've got more videos over here. We've got the subscription button right here, and I will see you in the next video.